Welcome to iFilm. You guys both are Cuban Americans. Specifically, Nestor, your family fought to reestablish democracy before being exiled. What does this film mean to you personally?
I think it means a lot to both of us and to our families. I mean, we got to see the movie play in Miami in front of our parents and our relatives, and we packed this huge theater there at the festival, and it was just amazing to see this reaction of a story that they've never seen on screen before, and we got a chance to realize that, shoot it with Andy, and it's a dream come true for me, because I've wanted so badly to see something like this on screen, and then to be a part of it. It's just phenomenal.
This highlights the 1959 revolution specifically, but as recently as 2003 there was a crackdown on dissidents by the Cuban government. What is it going to take for Cuban history to stop repeating itself?
Oil. If there was oil in Cuba, we'd be drinking mojitos right now. That's the situation. We'll go to Iraq and establish democracy there, but am I getting too political? For iFilm?
iFilm political. Bring it on.
Fantastic. No, but I think that's the currently right now in Cuba there's gross human rights violations going on. Across the board, on many different levels, and people are aware of it. It's public knowledge. I mean, if you have access to the internet, you could see what's going on, and it's for some reason or another, it's ignored. I think what's happening there is sort of varnished, and sugar-coated with these sensationalized images of very romantic Che and Fidel and the beards and the cigars and the cha-cha-cha and it's a sad thing because there's a lot of injustice, occurring there at this very moment. So what's it's going to take? I don't know. Oil, maybe this movie, maybe I don't know. Help me out here.
I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I mean, the only country who has an embargo against Cuba is the U.S., and no one else recognizes that. When there's apartheid in South Africa, everybody, took part in divestment. But with Cuba, the only embargo is from the U.S. and there, as Enrique was saying, there are gross human violations there every day, human rights violations. And so, what would it take? It's going to take a regime change, and unfortunately, this man has been there for 46 years, so he's going to have to die soon. So, I think it's going to come to that. I just hope that the transition is not a bloody one.
There are misconceptions about Cuban culture and its people. You talked about that a lot in your statement in the notes. What do you think this film will enlighten for people?
Well, I mean, when you say misconceptions, I think that's a nice word for ignorance. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know. I saw this boy the other day riding a bicycle with a Che Guevara shirt, and I said, "Hey, who's that guy on your shirt?" And he's like, "I don't know," and he had no clue. And if I had a T-shirt with a picture of Saddam Hussein on it or Osama bin Laden, it wouldn't be as socially acceptable. It wouldn't be, Osama. Hopefully, 50 years from now, Osama won't have slipped into the mainstream in such a way where my grandkids or children are wearing posters and shirts with Osama's name. Che was a very romantic figure, and Cuba's history, because of not just Che, I'm saying Cuba's history is a very romantic one. You know what I mean? People think cigars and beautiful women and dancing and casinos and white tuxedos, but there's a lot there that happened that people don't know about. And I think Andy's done a fantastic job in spoon-feeding, our culture and our identity to people that, I think, don't know.
Yeah, Enrique's right. There's a lot of people don't know. They're not aware. I mean, I know so many people even who've talked to me and say, "Oh, I do have a Che Guevara T-shirt." And I said, "Do you know the man, executed people without, judicial process? Do you know that he was a part of that?" One of my uncles was actually executed in La Cabaña, where Che, presided over these executions. He had a little window, and he would, oversee a lot of these executions. So a lot of people don't know this. Unfortunately, there was that one picture of him that is plastered on so many T-shirts and so many posters that clearly he's photogenic and he's tied to sort of the '60s and the beatnik and that stuff, and people think, oh wow, cool, he's a rebel. The irony is that if Che were in power and you were to wear an image that was rebellious, you'd probably be thrown in jail.
Great.
Yes, people seem to think that Che and Jack Kerouac were cut from the same cloth, and it's not accurate, you know.
Yeah. So, in depicting Che as he was, and Fidel Castro as he is, I think Andy has not only made a beautiful movie about Cuban culture, but also, for the record, established
accurate movie.
a very exactly historically accurate film.